Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this quick webinar on financial modeling using AI. AI is disrupting everything that we do. It is coming and taking a good step in terms of saving our time to do a lot of things in FP&A, whether it is building a budget or doing a financial model or building a CFO presentation. So AI is impacting every step of how we were able to do our FP&A role. And what we have been trying to do through these webinars is try and give you some glimpse of where AI is coming and how it is disrupting and what step is it disrupting. So over the course of next few weeks, you will see that we'll be doing a lot of webinars on AI, specifically to FP&A. And today's topic is on financial modeling using AI. So what are we going to cover today? Over the next 60 minutes or so, I would encourage all of you to get rid of all the distractions. This is going to be informative, insightful, and I guarantee you that you will have some great takeaways from this program. We'll first start by understanding what is a financial model. We'll quick spend some 5 to 10 minutes on understanding what is financial model and how is financial modeling in FP&A different from the regular financial modeling, which is related to investment banking or valuations or leverage buyouts or anything like that, right? So because financial modeling in FP&A is very specific, it's very specific to understand what CFOs are looking for, right? Then we will get into some use cases, right? So we'll directly get into use cases of how you can use ChatGPT, tools like Manus and Claude, right? So there are a lot of developments happening in Claude these days. So all these are powerful tools which can save you hours of work and probably dozens of steps which you would earlier be doing if you had to build an Excel model from scratch. Okay, so stay tuned for these. Again, all these tools are powerful in their own way. Whenever it comes to AI, don't just restrict yourself to thinking about learning one tool when it comes to AI, right? AI is a skill set. What you all need to focus on today is talking or learning to understand how do you talk to these tools, right? And today we'll be covering 3 specific tools, some use cases in ChatGPT and an agentic AI tool called Manus. And then we'll finally look at some use cases in Claude. And of course, we'll have some questions in the end. We can take some questions in the end as well. In the meantime, if you have any questions, you can, of course, drop them in the chat box. But I would highly encourage you to get rid of all the distractions and pay attention for the next 60 minutes, what we are planning to cover here today. A little bit about us before we begin with. My name is Dhawal Parvatikar. I'm a qualified chartered accountant. I've also completed my 1-year executive management program from IIM Ahmedabad. Over the last 16 years, I've served as a CFO and a finance leader in India and in the Middle East across various multinationals. I'm now the co-founder and lead faculty at FP&A Professionals Institute. Over the last 6 years, I've been an active online instructor and I've trained and mentored thousands of chartered accountants and finance professionals. I've trained more than 5,000 professionals on various topics like FP&A, finance business partnering, data storytelling, leadership, CFO career coaching, and now AI for finance and FP. I'm frequently seen in CFO events across the Middle East. Somewhere I've gone in as a moderator, as a panelist, as a keynote speaker. You'll frequently see me in CFO events across the Middle East. And I've also built a strong CFO community of more than 200 CFOs across the Middle East, okay, where we keep interacting with them regularly, trying to understand their needs and incorporate all of that in our training and coaching programs. I'm joined by my co-founder, Asif Masani. Asif, welcome,
Hi,
and a quick introduction from your end.
hi, Rahul. Thank you so much. Quickly about me. So I have been working in finance, very specifically in FP&A for more than 10 years now. I started in audit back in 2010. 2013, I moved into FP&A as an analyst. And when I left my last corporate role, which was back in 2023, I was the FP&A lead for one of the largest edtech companies in the world. So started from an analyst and then became the FP&A lead. And that is when we decided we want to share whatever we have learned through our experience, not just me and my experience, but experience of all the FP&A experts, right from North America to Europe to Middle East. And what we do through our courses, certifications, books, YouTube videos, podcasts, everything that we do at FP&A Professional Institute, we try to bring in all the experience and expertise of top FP&A professionals, CFOs, and finance leaders to you so that you can implement all of that in your finance and FP&A role and grow in your career. So that is a little bit about me and FP&A Professional Institute. And over the past 3 years now, we have trained more than 5,000. I think the 5,000 is an old number. It must have been more than 6,000 by now. So more than 5 to 6,000 students across all of these courses and certifications that you see on the screen. And happy to be part of this webinar with Dhawal today.
Awesome. Thank you, Asif. Always happy to partner with you. And here's a quick glimpse of our programs, and we'll also be talking about the Certified Global FP&A Professional Certification Program somewhere at the end of this program, end of this today's session as well. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be an interesting take for you. Cool. So let's get into today's topic. I'll hand over the floor to Asif to start with the basics of financial modeling. Asif has been specializing in financial modeling for FP&A over the last few years. So you'll directly hear from the master.
Okay, thanks, Dhawal. Let me share. Okay, we can continue here. So, first of all, I want to clarify the basic concept of what is a financial model. So, if I can ask you, you must have heard this term financial model and financial modeling many times, and many of you might be working on them as well. So, what do you think is a financial model? I want you to type in one or two words or one sentence in the chat box. What do you think is a financial model? Yeah, I'm looking at the responses and I'll read the most relevant ones. Okay, so the question is, what is a financial model according to you? You have to type one or two words in the chat box. Okay, whatever comes to your mind. Okay, so when you are talking about a financial model, somebody's asking you, send me a financial model. Okay, what does come to your mind? Okay, so some responses in the chat box I can read out. Projection, forecast, future performance. Okay, analysis and forecast. A simulation of how you expect the business to turn out to be. Interesting. Model that helps in decision making based on data. Presenting our assumptions and storytelling. Okay, so all are great responses. It's a forecast of a company's future performance. Okay, so these are all great responses. What I can say is you can call something as a financial model if it has three basic, or I would say in today's day and age, four basic components. Okay, the first component is the inputs. So there has to be an input section. Okay, input section is typically called as the assumptions section of the financial model, where you update all your assumptions and inputs. So if you have an input section, that is the most important, or one of the most important thing. Second is you need to have some sort of a calculation or some sort of data manipulation engine, or that is the core element which is called the financial model. So you have your assumptions, which is the input, then you have your calculations, which is your core financial model, and then you have something called as the output, or whatever, what are you going to present finally to your senior or finally to your CFO. Okay, so these are the three core elements: the inputs, which are assumptions, the calculation, which is the engine, and then output, which is the executive summary that you're going to present. Okay, and the fourth one is scenario planning or scenario modeling. Your financial model should be dynamic to be able to show different scenarios, not just one base case scenario, but should be able to switch between best case, worst case, and different scenarios that your business would want to see when you are doing a financial model. So if you have the assumptions, if you have the, which is the input section, if you have the output section, which is the executive summary, if you have the calculation section, which is the main part of the financial model, or the calculations, and if you have the scenario planning, these are the four basic components. If you have these four, you can call it a financial model. If any one of these are missing, especially the assumptions and the calculations, then it is hard to call it a financial model. Then it is more of a file or a report and not a financial model. Okay, so now that we know what a financial model is, let's just try to understand what is financial modeling for FP&A and how is it different from financial modeling for any other role in finance, be it investment banking, be it equity research, be it private equity, be it venture capital. Okay, so all of these other finance functions, which I just talked about, also heavily rely on financial modeling as a skill to be able to do their work in the most productive way. So how is financial modeling for FP&A different? So financial modeling for FP&A, our focus is on day-to-day use cases which come across in FP&A manager or FP&A analyst role. Okay, so we would focus on use cases like how do you create budgets and forecasts using financial model? How do you create revenue models and expense models doing best practice of financial modeling? how do you prepare a cash flow forecast that can help you project the next 3 months and help you take decisions on your liquidity management? How you can do scenario planning, how you can do sensitivity analysis, how you can do long range financial models, which are more than 3 years, where you need to take into account time value of money. And that is where your capital budgeting skills of NPV and IRR comes into play. So those are all the use cases that are related to FP&A, and that is what we call financial modeling for FP&A. So the focus of our coverage is going to be around these use cases. So we'll not be covering use cases for investment bankers or equity research analysts, like a M&A model or a LBO model, or very specific industries use cases like real estate modeling, oil and gas modeling. So we'll not be covering that as of now. So our focus will be on financial modeling for FP&A. So what we will do next, Dhawal, that was a little bit about what is financial model and what is financial modeling for it. So next, what we will do is we will share as many use cases as possible from different tools that we have used. Okay. Primarily, we have used 3 or 4 AI tools, including the OpenAI ChatGPT, when your Anthropic's Claude, and then Manus, which was recently taken over by Meta. So these are the three primarily tools which we will cover one by one, and we'll start with the first one. But before that, let me quickly take a look at the chat box. Three statement, financial model, other scenarios sensitive to make business decisions correctly. Absolutely. Would there be sessions for banking finance professionals for financial modeling? That's a great idea. So we could plan for that if there is enough people who want that. So we will check in our community if there is a lot of people who want to do that. We can plan for one of such sessions in the future. So thank you so much. Okay, so let me start with the ChatGPT use cases. Let me open my screen and let me just share. Okay, Dhawal, you let me know once you see the screen.
Yes, Asif, we can see it.
Okay, so I'll share quickly 2 or 3 use cases on ChatGPT, and then we will move on to Manus and Claude after that. So first example, let me show you is on, in this case, I would say capital budgeting. So what we saw, one of the use cases was capital budgeting inside the slide which had financial modeling for FP&A. So here is a problem that I gave ChatGPT, which was you can see that there is initial investment of $100,000. Okay, and the project is expected to bring in $40,000 annually as a cash inflow. Okay, and this is a 5-year project, and the discount rate is 50%, 16% in this case. Okay. Earlier, I used to do this in Excel and use Excel formulas and tables to calculate the NPV and IRR for such situations. Okay, now what I can do is I can simply input that as a prompt in ChatGPT, and I could upload this image, which was just an image that I uploaded, and ask ChatGPT to calculate the NPV and IRR. And these are the assumptions that you saw in that image as well. So I give you the assumptions and I ask it to calculate the NPV and IRR, and let's see what it is able to do. So it's able to analyze the inputs and come up with the output, which gives me the NPV number and the IRR number, along with the payback period and the discounted payback period. So it was able to quickly do the capital budgeting calculations, which I earlier used to do in Excel, and it would have taken me maybe 15 minutes to do that. It was able to do that in a matter of couple of minutes. Okay. Now I'm asking it next to evaluate whether this project is worth investing or not based on the calculations that it has done, and also give me a recommendation based on the considering all the factors after doing that. Okay, so it was able to give me a conclusion as well. The project is worth investing in. And here is why LPV is positive, IRR is 28.65, which is well above 16%, which is the required rate of return. Payback period is 2.5, discounted payback period is 3.46. Both are comfortably within the 5-year project type. Okay, so it was able to also come up with a decision or a conclusion after doing the calculations. Okay, so that was an interesting use case on capital budgeting. Let me see if I can share one more. Okay, so this is a interesting use case where I've created a subscription revenue model inside ChatGPT. Okay, I'll just show you what are the prompts that I gave to be able to do that. Okay, so I've given it the assumptions. So I've given it the assumptions of a usual financial model. I've given it, consider this to be a application or a software where you have downloads from the App Store. Okay, so in this case, 1.5 million downloads, 15% growing at a 15% month-on-month growth rate, and 90% people who download this software are active users. So based on this, this is the active user number. Okay. 5% of those convert to paid users, and so out of these 1.3 and a half million, you have 1.2 million as paid users and free users, and 67,000 as paid users based on the 5% conversion rate. And the subscription fee is $35 per month. Okay, so this is your month one subscription revenue, which is 67,500 into 35, which is 2.3 million. Okay, so this is a quick mini financial model, and what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to build a subscription revenue calculator inside ChatGPT, and I don't want to download it in Excel. I want to share that link, and people should be able to update the inputs and be able to see the outputs, how the outputs change as you change the assumptions. Okay, so it was able to create this subscription calculator. Let me show you how it looks like. Okay, so if you see, you have the inputs on the left hand side. So right now it is set at what was given to me. If I want to change this, if I want to make this 1 million, I can do that. If I want to change the growth rate to 5%, if I want to change the activation rate to 80%, if I want to change the conversion rate to 2%, if I want to change the subscription to $29, I can do that. I can immediately see what will be the change in the revenue number correspondingly. Okay, so this is like acting like a quick calculator where you can just update the assumptions and see the output change immediately. Okay, so next what I wanted to do is I also wanted to see the entire 12-month revenue number. So what I did was I gave it another prompt on the left hand side, if you can see. Could you create a calculator for M12? Right now it only give me the M1 revenue or the month one revenue. I wanted to see how would the revenue look like over 12 months and also for the full year. So I added one prompt after creating this. I said, could you create a calculator for M1 to M12 revenues and total full year number as well. Okay, so that's when it came up with this bottom section. And if you notice, if I change anything here, if I make it 1.2 million here, everything in the bottom section also changes, and it gives me month 1 to month 12 download numbers, activated numbers, subscriber numbers, revenue numbers, and also the cumulative revenue number for the full year, which is what usually we do when we do a financial model. We try to build in a revenue number month on month and then get to the cumulative 12-month revenue or the full year revenue number. Okay, so this was an interesting case which we could create a financial modeling simulation or a calculator inside ChatGPT. Okay, let me go back and see. Okay, let me see if we can do the sensitivity analysis use case. Okay, so let's do this along with Claude. So we have the same example in Claude as well. So I'll show you comparatively how Claude and ChatGPT works at that time. So for now we can pause here and go to the next tool, with this Manus.
Awesome. So let me just quickly share my screen. So the Manus AI is originally a Chinese tool. So now it is bought by Meta, and the screen very much looks like ChatGPT. But what I have been specifically liking about Manus is its capabilities to do things beyond just a basic Q&A. It is probably your nearest experience to agentic AI. Autonomously, it can do a lot of things, and I've experimented with Manus. I've been doing that over the last almost 7, 8 months now. I thought I'll take it for a quick 1 month subscription and see how it is, and then I completely fell in love with it. And it's very strong in terms of some capabilities which go beyond basic Q&A, unlike ChatGPT. So it has good Excel capabilities, it has good PPT capabilities, it has capabilities of even building a stronger website as well. So this is how Manus AI looks like, where you can create slides, build website, develop apps. You can do a lot of things here. Okay, so let's start with one quick activity. Okay, I'm going to share with you a quick link here. So this is what you see here on the screen is a financial model builder website. Okay, I want you to just, I'm putting this in the chat box. Those of you who are joining from your laptop, you can just try out using this website. All you need to do is go click on the create model, fill in your details, select any industry that you would like, and then you can generate a model in an Excel sheet. I've just pasted that in the chat box. And once you are able to generate the financial model for the industry of your choice, then you can also just type that industry in the chat box. For which one did you do it? I'll wait for a few seconds. Okay, Shasha says she did it for retail. Were you able to download the Excel sheet for retail? Was that easy? Were you able to give your KPIs and everything? Awesome. Vishal says FMCG. Okay. FMCG, yeah. Manufacturing. Okay. Okay. Cool. So some of you are able to create that model. So let me just quickly, now all attention on the screen here. So let me just quickly share the model with you here. So what this website does is it is basically asking you to fill in your basic details, okay? And you select your industry from your drop down. So these are the options available at this point in time, okay? So for example, let me say SaaS and technology. Once I select SaaS and technology, it is asking me for some basic metrics as well. What is a monthly recurring revenue that I'm looking for, churn rate, customer acquisition. It is giving me some details. Again, I can edit all of these details, and what the kind of gross margin do I want, what kind of cost do I want, right? So after this revenue information, I'm just saying I agree, generate financial model, download Excel file, boom, the Excel model is ready. I'm just opening it for you. So this is the Excel model that Manus created in a few seconds. This is for the SaaS company. You can look at it here. There is a basic P&L, there is a balance sheet, there is a cash flow statement as well. Then you have the base case, optimistic and pessimistic scenario, and there is some summary that it created as well. So this is what Manus can do. You can also see that it is very well formatted. It's very neat in terms of its appearance. And I had given it a 24-month window. So if you look at the website, it was asking for a 24-month window. So that's where it generated a 24-month window. Okay. So this is a quick financial model website. Did anyone try? Did anyone try for? Yeah, this is in AED because the assumptions were in assuming it was a UAE based company, but you can change the currency or anything that you want as well. Yes. So Vaibhav is asking a question: which one is better, Claude or Manus? So unfortunately, there's no straightforward answer for it, but it really depends on what you would like to do. So hang on, no, I feel many of you are typing some industries out there, but let me just tell you how this entire website got created on Manus. Okay, so this is very simple. Like I mentioned, what about the biggest advantage that you have on Manus is its capabilities beyond chat, right? It can do a lot of things autonomously for you. Okay. So what I did here is I'm just showing you the prompt sequence as well. What I did here is I wanted to create a financial model in Excel. Then I thought, okay, let me just test Manus's capabilities to see if it can do things beyond just creating a financial model as well. So I started experimenting with Manus and said that, okay, I want an HTML website. Okay, I can share this prompt in the chat box for those of you who want to save it. But you can generate a similar prompt from ChatGPT or anywhere. So hear me out first. I'll address all your questions. So here is the prompt that I mentioned where I wanted it to create a HTML website, which is a financial model builder. Okay, and I gave uh, I gave it some instructions asking to exclude banks and insurance industry. Then it asked me some options on including what kind of industries. Regional preset to be in the UAE. Give me the base case, best case, and pessimistic scenario. Um, then I asked it to keep an easy UX flow, right? So all of this big prompt that I gave, and then it started working on its own. Now this is all Manus is doing on its own. So I'm not giving any instructions here. It started thinking on its own. Okay. First built me a website which did not work. The Excel model did not work. So make sure that you don't violate any copyrights while building this website, right? So again, I started working on its own. It's working it is testing the files, all of it. Manus is doing things on its own now. So I'm not giving any instructions here. Then it created a website. Then it finally created a website. Okay. And then I gave it some more instructions. I said that I love the website. Very well done. What I'm looking for is a bit more detailed one. So it gave a very basic model, which had only 2 or 3 lines. So then I said, put 8 to 10 revenue parameters. Okay. Then put 8 to 10 cost parameters as well. right? And then finally click on submit button and I can generate the website. So it started working on it again. Okay, all of this Manus is doing on its own with basic English conversations with Manus. No fancy prompt or no prompt formula or anything like that. I mean, of course, if the prompts are sharper, the outcome will be sharper. Okay, so everything is doing on its own. And then finally, it created the model builder website. You see the website here. It made all the changes. Yeah, it gave the model builder website. So this is how I can just click it here. Now, the hosting of this website is done on Manus's own space. So this will remain for a few months. If this website is, I mean, I did it more like an experiment, but if this website is final, you can of course take the code and then put it on a hosting site, and this can actually become a professional website as well, right? And there are a lot of features that you can include in this. So this is how the website looks like, where you simply, to create your model, it will give you a 24-month projections, your P&L, balance sheet, cash flow statement. It can do all of that on its own. Okay. So this is one use case on Manus where it can create websites for you. It can create presentations. It can create Excel models for you as well. Now, let me show you the second use case for Manus. Now, this is a use case for building an end-to-end model from scratch. So here is my prompt. Again, maybe, by the way, whatever we are showing you is from in the paid version of Manus, but in the free version also, there are some credits that you can use. Maybe you can try this out as well. So I said, okay, can you build a 3-statement financial model for 3 years for a SaaS company, scale it up from 500 to 1,000 to 5,000 subscribers in 3 years at USD 200 per annum subscription. Do your own research and capture the costs in the financial statements as per your understanding of the UAE market. Okay, whatever rent, developer cost, cloud hosting cost, whatever the cost, you research, do your own research and capture it as per the UAE market. Of course, we'll have to do the sense check, but just it will give us a starting point as well. The company will be based in the UAE and the customers will be based across the globe. Simple. It started building, understood, I'll build a 3-statement comprehensive model. It started doing things on its own, taking some assumptions. Okay, so then it gave me a basic financial model, which looked something like this. This model is good, but I did not like it much because there was no formulas here. There was no scenario tab. There's no assumptions. I can't change anything here really, right? So then I refined my prompt and I said that amend this model using financial modeling best practices, capture the assumptions on a separate sheet so that I can edit it when required. Also keep a switch for selecting base case, best case, and worst case scenario. And then it understood this instruction, okay, and then it started reworking on the financial model, adding enhanced financial model features, okay, and then it started working on its own, and then it gave me one more. This is nice. Here there is a scenario selector, there is assumptions, which is captured on a separate tab. Then there is income statement, which is again formula linked. You can see that the formula is linked to the case that we select, whether it's a base case, best case, or worst case. Then it gave me a balance sheet, it gave me a cash flow statement, it gave me a key metrics sheet as well. But still, probably I was not happy with it. I thought, okay, let me push it one more step. I said, looks good. Can you make the scenario selector cell a drop down style button so that once the scenario is selected, all the calculations are according to the scenario? So that's the instruction that I gave. And finally, it started working on its own and gave me the final Excel model. Okay, so now let me quickly show you the downloaded version of the Excel model. So here is the Excel model that it gave, where there is a scenario selector, assumptions are there. I can change these assumptions, right? It calculated all the costs on its own, the marketing, CAC, lease rentals, professional services, all of this on its own. Instead of starting a model from scratch, which would take probably a few hours for you to build, I think this is a great starting point. Of course, we can modify this. And if you see the income statement here you can see that the revenue is 100,000, 200, and 1 million for year 1, 2, and 3 respectively. I can go to the scenario selector, take the drop down and say, select the best case. The moment I select the best case, everything gets already amended. Here, the income statement, you will see now the 100,000 became 150, 325, and $1.75 million. Okay. So there's an assumptions tab. I can change any assumptions. If I feel that year 1 personal cost should not be 163,500, it needs to be 170,000. I can of course change that, and everything is formula linked and it get amended on its own. Not a single formula written from scratch. Everything through basic English prompting. Okay. So that is where we are with respect to AI now. So again, Manus is a very powerful tool to build your presentations, your financial modeling, any financial analysis, and cover all of that in detail in the AI module in our CGFPA program. We'll talk about that in a while. Okay, so let me see if there are some questions. Editable formulas, I think I've answered that question. EAD, USD, yes, you can select any currency that you want. Yes, Claude is certainly powerful. I mean, there's no doubt about it. So financial modeling capabilities in Claude are definitely uncomparable. But let me tell you a secret. The backend of Claude is the backend of Manus is actually a combination of Claude and Gwen. Okay, so Claude's capabilities might at some point in time be integrated in Manus as well. How expensive is Manus? I think the basic paid version starts from $17. I'm using a slightly higher version, which is at $47 per month. Manus is like my assistant now. It does probably 2 to 3 hours of my job every day, right? So whether it is content writing or research or building presentations or case studies for my FP&A class or something like that. So yes, I think I answered that. How expensive is Manus? $17 is the basic subscription, and then after that, it's a $47. Yes, Dheeraj's question. There are many AI tools. So what should we approach in learning in this AI world? So see, Dheeraj, here is a simple 6-month plan that I would give you. Okay, focus on 3 or 4 tools. One is ChatGPT, Claude, Manus. These 3 I feel are sufficient. We have been using this since last 1-2 years. I would say go for premium subscription for all these 3 for the next at least 3 to 6 months. Keep experimenting, keep learning new things. Right? And once you feel that, okay, probably this is the tool that is better or it is most comprehensive, then you can stick to that tool. At times, I've seen that ChatGPT is more favorable for me on some aspects, on some writing related aspects. Maybe Manus is better in terms of preparing presentations. So that's where, there are multiple tools available out there. So
Yeah.
my recommendation to you would be to don't try and find that tool answer. You will not be able to find it. Everybody's needs are different, but keep experimenting. I think these 2 or 3 tools can be your good starting point.
Yeah, and other than the 3 tools, which is Manus, this Claude and ChatGPT, if you're using Excel, PowerPoint primarily, and if you have a Copilot license in your office, then Copilot is another one. And then if you're using Google Workspace, Google Sheets, Google Workbooks, Google Excel files, and then Gemini is definitely going to be another option. So among these 5, you should pick any 3 and then test these 3, and then whatever works you should keep, and whatever does not work you should replace it with the next one.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting question in the chat box. My organization does not have Manus. See, all these tools that we are sharing today, whether it is Claude or Manus or ChatGPT, these are all public tools, right? So you cannot technically directly use them for your company related data. But let me also tell you something that most companies are going to come up with enterprise LLM models very soon. Okay, so your probably IT team must be working on that. Okay, so my recommendation to you would be that start learning the skill set to talk to these tools and getting things done from these tools now. Okay, very soon you will have your in-house enterprise Claude or a ChatGPT or a LLM where you can interact with the company data only. You can share your company related data and get things done from these tools as well. If you're ready with Claude, then we can go for Claude, and then we can take some time in the end for Q&A as well.
Yeah, let me share my screen. Okay, so there are some more questions. We'll take it at the end. We will continue with the use cases. Okay, so right now I will share a few use cases using Claude, and I have installed Claude inside my Excel as an add-in. Okay, so I will share the entire course where you can go through all the Claude demo videos one by one at the end of this webinar, so that you have all the Claude related use cases with you. Okay, so wait for that till the end. And for now, what I'll do is I will show you the same prompt that we saw in Manus, and let's see if Claude is able to execute that. And I'm also doing this for the first time. So this is the same prompt that Dhawal had shared. Build a subscription revenue calculator. Okay, so this is not the same one. Wait, let me just pick up from the chat box. Just give me a moment. I'm trying to locate the chat. I'm taking the same prompt. I'll be modifying it. I don't want a website here. So what I'll say is, okay, this one. Can you build a 3-statement financial model for 3 years for a SaaS company? Let me make it big so that you can see it. So can you build a 3-statement financial model for 3 years for a SaaS company? Scale it up from 500 to 1,000 to 5,000 subscribers in 3 years. Add $200 per annual subscription. Do your own research, calculate the cost. Okay, instead of UAE, I'll select now US market. Company will be based in US, and the customers are based around the globe. Okay, so let's see if they're able to do this. This is the most recent version of Manus, which is Opus 4.6. Let's see if it is able to execute that. Okay, generally compared to the other tools, Manus usually takes more time because it is slightly more detailed, is what I believe. So it has started now looking at the, let me just read out what it is doing. So it says, I'll build a comprehensive, is the prompt visible, Dhawal? Is the pane visible? Is it readable?
It's slightly smaller also, but yeah, this is better. This is better.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it says, I'll build, let me just allow it once and let's see what it is doing. Okay, I'll build a comprehensive three-statement financial model for US-based SaaS company. Let me first plan out the model structure, assumptions, and then build it step by step. So it is planning the assumptions sheet. I did not have to tell it build the assumptions like Manus. Then it is going to build the income statement in the second sheet. In the third sheet, it's going to build the balance sheet. In the fourth sheet, it is going to build the cash flow statement. I'll talk about what those are in a bit. Okay. For key SaaS cost assumptions, it's taking the cost of goods sold as 20 to 25% of revenue, marketing and sales as 40 to 45 initially, and then decline as it's, which is typically in uh, tech companies or startups. Okay, R&D, some percentage of revenue. Okay, tax rate, 21% US federal tax rate. Now it has started working on the assumptions sheet. If you notice, it is now come up with the assumption sheet. So if you look at on the left hand side, it is started to build the assumption sheet, and it is now updating that. Okay, now let me build the full assumptions table. Writing assumption header. So what this means is when you see this writing assumptions header, it is telling Excel. So Claude is telling Excel to write this particular row number two. So now it is write revenue and cost assumptions. So now Manus, or no, in this case, Claude has instructed Excel to write the assumptions, and the Excel is executing those instructions. Okay, so you can see on the left hand side, the model is getting, the assumption section is getting populated where you have number of subscribers, average subscribers, subscription pricing, churn rate, different assumptions relating to cost, operating expenses. So now it is completed building the assumption section, I believe. Now it is going to, no, it is still building the assumption section. It's still on the other assumptions. So it's assuming something for depreciation and amortization. Okay, so as I told you, it's slightly slower. However, it's more comprehensive. So now it is completing the balance sheet assumptions. If you can see on the left hand side. On the right hand side, you can notice it's also instructed Excel to write the balance sheet assumptions. This way, you can check step by step what it is doing, and also you can stop it in between. I'm not doing it right now, but you can stop it in between and redirect it if you feel that it is going wrong somewhere. Okay, so it is done with the assumptions. Now it is starting to work on the income statement, and it is going to work with formulas linked to the assumptions, is what it is saying. Now it is writing the revenue line. Let us go to the income statement and see if it is able to do the revenue. Okay, so it is populating the income statement and it's updated the income statement. Although the currency is rupees, it's not dollars, which was not expected, but that I can change the format later on. Or maybe it will update the formatting at the end. Let's see. Okay, so it's now updating the income statement. It says the income statement is well structured through row number 17. Now let me continue with the EBITDA through net income. So it's now at total operating expenses. Now it will update the rest of the income statement. Okay, so similarly, what it will do is it update the income statement. It will then move on to the balance sheet, and then it will go to the cash flow statement. Okay, so it's completed. It has completed the income statement. If you can notice, it has a 20.5% negative net income in the first year. Then it becomes positive in year two, and then it becomes 20% in year two. So very typical of a business where first year is typically negative, or you lose money, and then you break even at some point, and then you start making the return on you start getting the profits on your business. So I believe it has now completed the balance sheet or started building the balance sheet as well. It has completed the asset section. Now it is working on the liabilities. Also, it is adding some comments if you notice. So wherever it is making some assumptions or calculation, it is highlighting it in the comments. Okay, so for example, this red cell, it is pointing it to me that okay, in the inside this $20,600, you have the PPE plus capex or whatever the components are. Okay, so it's now built a balance sheet check as well. So it's now doing the check to make sure the balance sheet is balancing. But I don't think this will balance till the cash flow statement is done. Once the cash flow statement is done, it will update the cash number, and then the balance sheet will balance. So let's see if it is able to do the cash flow statement and balance the balance sheet. Okay, so next it will go and build the cash flow statement. So it says now the cash flow statement and citing the entire starting to write the cash flow statement. Yeah, if I had to do this from scratch, I would have taken easily 3 to 4 hours. Also, I would have had to do a lot of thinking, which I can fast track with this. So I can just look at the assumptions and change wherever I want to change, and then the model will get updated accordingly. So all of these are formulated and linked to the assumptions. So if you see, everything is linked to the assumptions. So if I change the assumptions, the model will get updated, the income statement balance sheet will get updated. Okay, let's see if it is able to build the cash flow. Okay, so the usual cash flow from operations, investing and financing, it is in the process of building it. And now I believe it is tying up the balance sheet and the cash flow, which is typically what we also do when we do the three-statement financial model. Looks like it has completed the three-statement financial model, and if you see the checks here, they are zero. So it is now these cash and cash equivalent numbers are directly flowing from the ending cash balance. It is still running some checks on the right hand side, which is good. Let's see what it is doing next. Okay, so I believe we can pause here. I'll not continue, otherwise it'll take another 10 minutes on the same example. But you got the idea. It was able to build from scratch the entire financial model in a matter of less than 5 to 7 minutes. Ideally, this would have taken you 3 to 4 hours if you had to do this on your own. So I'll stop it here and I'll press this pause button and we'll see a new use case. But before that, I'll see and check if there are any comments in the chat box. Okay, so I don't see any new comments in the chat box. So let me continue with the new use case and let me go on to the next one, which is going to be the one I was going to show you in ChatGPT as well. Let me share my screen. Okay, so after the three-statement financial model, what we will do is we will quickly take a look at an example of doing sensitivity analysis. So sensitivity analysis, let me make this slightly bigger. Right. So sensitivity analysis typically is understanding the changes in the output by changes in one or more assumptions or variables. So in this example, you have a small income statement or a revenue model on the left-hand side. So your revenue number is $24,000 and it is based on these four yellow color assumptions. Okay, so number of website visitors, click-through rate, average cost per thousand impressions, average cost per click. Okay, so this is an advertising revenue model where these are the yellow four assumptions. And based on these four assumptions, your revenue number is directly linked. Okay, so if you look at the formula, revenue number will be linked based on these four assumptions. Okay, so right now, how do you read this table? The sensitivity analysis table that you see on the right. At 750,000 visitors, which is here, if you can notice in the table, your revenue number is 24 and a click-through rate of 2%. Okay, so these are the two. Here is a 2%. So at 750,000 visitors and 2% click-through rate, your revenue number is $24,000, which is what you can see here in the table. Okay, so now the objective of the table is to give you the revenue number based on different levels of monthly visitors and based on different click-through rates. So if the visitors go up or down, if the click-through rate increases or decreases, then how would the revenue change accordingly? Okay, so if I had to do this in Excel, I had to create the table like this, and I had to select the to create the table like this. I had to link the model output to the intersection of the rows and columns. I had to select entire. I had to go to the data table option inside data, and it is under what if analysis. I had to create a data table like this. Row input cell, I have to select the rows, which is the number of visitors. Column input cell, I had to select the click-through rate, which is the columns. And that's how the table was updated. So I needed to know some Excel functions and formulas to be able to do that. Okay, now let us see if the tool is able to do, the Claude is able to do the same thing. Now, because I have already done this in this particular file, I will not use it because you can already see the Claude log here. So what I'll do is I'll take a new file so that it is unbiased and I'll create the same assumption here. So I'll pick up the data from the previous file. Okay. And okay, so these are formulated. Okay, I'll also pick up this section. I'll delete this and let me give a prompt and see if Claude is able to do this. So I'll go to the home section. I'll go to open Claude and I'll give it a very simple prompt using this. Let me make it big. Using this data set, perform sensitivity analysis. Okay, I'm not asking it to build this table or anything. I'm just asking it to perform sensitivity analysis. Let's see if it is able to detect it. It says I'll start reading the data in your spreadsheet to understand what we are working with. Okay, let me get a better view of the data with formatting to understand the structure. Okay, so it says now I have understood what you need. This is a website blog revenue model with a sensitivity analysis table partially built. Okay, so now it is asking me, I see that your blog has this. Do you want a formula-based sensitivity table or Excel table, which is what-if analysis? So what-if analysis is what we did earlier in the previous. Let's try the formula-based sensitivity analysis table. It is also giving you options. Which option do you want? So let me select the formula-based one. Okay, so now it has started building the table on the left-hand side. If you notice, it is populating each formula cell by cell. So it is now populated the first one, and now it has populated the entire table. Okay, the sensitivity analysis table is complete, and I can see already it is beautifully red to green condition formatting supplied for that. Okay, so now let me just compare this with the. Okay, so 2%, 750, 24,000, meaning the table is working, and just comparing it to the file that we had earlier, it's exactly the same output. Okay, so it was able to do the same sensitivity analysis table just with the help of a prompt instead of you knowing the Excel formulas and functions. And I also mentioned that you could do the same thing in ChatGPT. So let me just put the same prompt in ChatGPT and see if it is able to do that. Okay. So same prompt I gave in ChatGPT created. I gave the assumptions and I asked it to return it in that format, which was the format that we had created. And ChatGPT was also able to build the sensitivity analysis table. So if you notice, this is at 2% and at $750,000, it is $24,000. So ChatGPT also was able to build this. Okay, and I could have copy pasted this in Excel or downloaded this into Excel, and I could have used it as well. Okay, so Dhawal, do we have more time, or should we continue with the slides? I think I'll have to unmute. Yeah.
No, Asif, I think we should continue with the slides.
Okay. So I'll share our Claude course link, which is free for next few days, so you can join that. But we'll do that at the end. So I think it is now exhausted the free user limit. I'll add 50 more users so that people can join in who are there in the webinar. So I'll share that in a bit. I'll stop sharing my screen, and that will you can continue.
Okay, cool. So we covered some use cases specifically related to financial modeling in FP&A with ChatGPT, Manus, and Claude. I hope you now have kind of got a glimpse of how our roles are changing in financial modeling and FP&A, whether it is investment banking or FP&A or any finance function. AI will come and be integrated. It will be integrated in most of these steps as well. So that's why it is important for you to upskill at the right point in time. And if you are in a rule-based work right now, that is AP, AR, GL, or any accounting stuff, that will get automated first. So that's why it is important for you to move into the FP&A function, which is more of a decision support and business partnering, and then also incorporate the AI developments in your role as well. So what we have done is we have done extensive surveys, and there are 5 critical skill sets that CFOs today are looking for in their finance teams. First is core FP&A concepts: budgeting, forecasting, variance analysis, profitability analysis. All of that is the core FP&A concepts. Then comes financial modeling, specifically to FP&A, which we have already spoken today in this class. Then data storytelling. You can analyze 10,000 lines of Excel sheet, but the business humans will not be able to understand that. That is where effectively you need to convert it into a visual with a strong narrative and a story. That's what is data storytelling. Then business partnering, where it is your ability to contribute through your business acumen, collaborate with various cross-functional teams, and then help them and add true value in the business by helping them take some right decisions. And of course, last but not the least, leveraging the AI and technological developments that are happening in the finance field. Now, these are the 5 core skill sets that CFOs today are looking for in their finance function. Now, what we have done at FPI is over the last 2 years, both Asif and I have quit our high-paying CFO and FP&A jobs to establish FPI, basically with a mission to help finance professionals upskill themselves and stay ahead in the market. We have developed an extensive program. It's called the Certified Global FP&A Professional Program. So this is a global FP&A certification built and delivered directly by CFOs and FP&A leaders. It has 10 comprehensive modules, which we'll talk about it in a while. Then everything through experiential sessions, real life cases, real life looking like data. And then you'll also be part of a global alumni network. CGFPA program has been taken by more than 200 students from more than 25 countries so far, right? You'll be part of that alumni network. You'll get sessions with a personalized coach. Placement support in terms of your resume review, interview preparation. We have our own portal now. It's called fpnajobs.com, where we are trying to bring in the recruiters and talent on one platform. Q&A sessions with the faculty to clarify any of your doubts. Guest speaker sessions, globally top digital transformation experts, FP&A implementation experts, and CFOs are coming to FPI for guest sessions every month, and you'll get access to all of those things, in a very seamless way by at the comfort of your home through online LMS, and all the live sessions that we do are on Zoom as well. Now, the CGFPA curriculum has 10 comprehensive modules. Asif, you want me to quickly cover this or?
Yeah, I can talk quickly on some of
Yeah,
the modules.
yes.
So
Okay.
introduction to FP&A is your understanding of the FP&A role. What does the FP&A team do? What does your day-to-day look like? What does your month look like? So there's a detailed FP&A calendar which we walk you through with examples, case studies, and also make you implement FP&A in one of the companies. So that is what the introduction to FP&A is. Budgeting forecasting, one of the core modules where we cover different budgeting and forecasting methods and techniques. So budgeting methods like top down, bottom up, zero based incremental, activity based budgeting, forecasting methods and techniques like driver based forecasting, rolling forecast, statistical ways of doing forecasting like regression analysis, time series analysis. All of that is covered using examples, case studies. Also, we make you go through the end-to-end budget, right from the revenue budget to the COGS, cost of the production, inventory, head count and salaries, admin and selling and general admin budget, capex and depreciation. So all of that, the entire end-to-end budgeting cycle we make you go through, and at the end you present a budget presentation, or you create a budget presentation as if you're presenting to the CFO. AI for finance and FP&A is very similar to the webinar that we're doing today. So not just financial modeling related use cases, we have use cases related to all the FP&A related functions. Apart from financial modeling, there are so many other areas. For example, there are use cases related to budgeting and forecasting. There are use cases related to doing financial analysis. There are use cases related to doing data storytelling. So you can create visuals and charts using AI. So this is one of the most popular modules of our program, and we cover different tools as we mentioned: Claude, ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini, Manus, and we try to bring in guest speakers as well, not just me and Dhawal, but there are several guest speakers who bring in their expertise of working with different clients in AI field. That's a little bit on AI for finance. And then management reporting, we cover most common management reports that FP&A people usually work on: month-end report, your flash reports, different performance management frameworks like balance scorecards, KPIs, OKRs, performance evaluation, profitability analysis, recharges and allocations, and there are many more topics inside the management reporting. Financial modeling, as we saw today, very specifically for FP&A, we cover FP&A use cases like revenue models, expense models, cash flow forecast, sensitivity analysis, scenario planning, capital budgeting. So all of that using examples, case studies, detailed examples and case studies are covered on that. So you want to cover the right-hand side module?
Yes, Asif. So in terms of data analytics, one thing that will be common in your FP&A roles is that you will be dealing with large sets of data, whether it is financial data or operational data. In which case we are covering all the basics of Power BI, Power Query, SQL, and we are introducing more tools like Python or Tableau and many more tools as well. So that is what is the data analytics module. Then financial analysis. Financial analysis is not just about ratio analysis, right? So it's not just about liquidity ratios or profitability ratios. Financial analysis goes much deeper because a CFO understands financial analysis in a very different way when he's analyzing company from an internal standpoint. And so that is where we are covering horizontal, vertical analysis and different steps in the financial analysis module. And storytelling and presentations, like I already mentioned to you, storytelling best practices, how do you present, whom do you present, what chart type to use, when to use it, when to use a waterfall chart, when to use a 2x2 matrix. All of those things are covered step by step with real life use cases in the CFO's office and the FP&A office. Strategy. Now, strategy is a very interesting module. So as and when you start becoming senior in your career, your senior management will start talking a certain strategic language. At that point in time, you cannot use strategy in a very loose way. That's where we're covering all the popular strategic tools and also show you how FP&A could be interlinked to these strategic tools as well, so that tomorrow you are involved in strategic decisions in your company. And then finally, business partnering and FP&A. A business partnering where we're talking about business acumen, your ability to build strong cross-function relationships. Both Asif and I have worked on various collaborative projects in our careers with business development, with legal teams, with HR, with plant and production. So many different teams we have collaborated with. And we'll share with you all those examples to see how you can truly add value in the business. So all in all, 10 solid modules. Don't just think about CGFP as a course or a certificate. It is 20 years of our blood, sweat, and tears packed into a compact 6-month program. And in terms of AI, you will now notice that AI is kind of internalized in our entire program. If we're showing you a use case on how do you build profitability analysis in FP&A, immediately we show it to you how it is done in AI as well. So AI is now getting embedded at every element, every step in our program as well. So that's the CGFPA program for you. Now, what is the eligibility criteria for undergoing the CGFPA program? Two things. One is either you need to have a bachelor's degree or a global equivalent in finance, accounting, or business. Alternatively, you may have any of the professional qualifications like CA, CPA, CMA, ACC, or any respective accounting qualification of your country. We don't claim to be a substitute for these primary qualifications, but in fact, we are a supplement for these primary qualifications because FP&A is not taught to us in these accounting qualifications. Okay. And we're also accredited by CPD UK so that you can claim continuing credits in your accounting qualifications as well. Now, how do you get the CGFPA award? Three things. One is that we meet every Saturday live for 2 hours. The next cohort is going to start on 14th of March, where we'll be meeting every Saturday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. IST. 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. IST. You need to attend at least 50% of the classes live online. After that, somewhere in month number 5, you will be submitting a capstone presentation, which will be an end-to-end budget presentation for a CFO. All the guidance around that will be given to you. Once you submit the capstone project, then you are eligible for the final examination. The final examination is a 2 hours, 50 questions, 100 marks proctored examination, which happens live online. Okay. And after that, undergoing that examination and you passed with at least 50% passing marks, you will be awarded the CGFPA certificate from FP&A Professionals Institute. Now, the ROI for a program like this, which is covering all the essential skills on FP&A, along with embedding AI into it, I leave it to your imagination. The course fee investment in this program is USD 1795. You also have an option to pay it over 5 months. The course duration will be for 6 months, okay, where we'll meet every Saturday live for 2 hours. Apart from that, about 60 to 90 minutes of your own time investment is required. We'll give you some pre-reading materials, case studies, models to go through, and you need to prepare that and then come to the classroom. Totally about 3 to 4 hours of your weekly commitment is what we expect. And this is designed for busy professionals, so we understand that all of you are in your full-time job somewhere. The next cohort is starting on 14th of March 2026. That is when the orientation is happening. The actual classes will start from 4th of April 2026. Okay, 14th March is the orientation. The date that you need to remember is month end, 28th of February 2026. That is when the first round of applications are closing. Admissions have already started for cohort 8. Please make sure that you submit your application. What I would encourage all of you to do is at least submit your application. That's completely free of cost. Once you submit the application, our academic counselors will check your eligibility. They will reach out to you. You can ask them for demo lectures. You can ask them for our previous alumni phone numbers, right? You can talk to them and do your own due diligence. Don't just enroll into the program because we are telling you. Do your own due diligence. Talk to any of our alumni. There have been tons and tons of testimonials. Many of them have been able to transition into FP&A roles. Many of them have been able to implement a lot of frameworks that we have shared in the class in their existing FP&A roles as well. So talk to any of our alumni and they'll tell you how the program has been valuable for them. FP&Ajobs.com is our latest initiative. Please make sure that you create a detailed profile on FP&Ajobs.com. Hopefully, your next opportunity will come from FP&Ajobs.com. We're trying our best to bring in all the recruiters and FP&A talent on one platform. Again, the date to remember, 28th of Feb 2026 is when the first round of applications are closing. Please make sure that you at least submit the application and be in the race. Usually, there are some early bird offers that the academic counselors will tell you about. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.